You know those mouth breathers that are in the military that you've ever encountered? The guy that slipped through the cracks and just somehow made it past MEPS boot camp and is now at your first command. You're wondering how he even got there if he can't even follow one simple instruction. Looks like somebody on Reddit saying that maybe they have an autistic candidate that is at their command that nobody can trust. First things first, I have to say thanks to the one person from my Patreon page, 5 people total, that voted on this story because we do weekly votes on the video topics that are going to be here. And we're going to have the people that are members come through here that are on the YouTube membership. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. You can become a member down there below as well. This is titled, Can I Get a Soldier Tested for Autism/Down Syndrome? This piqued my interest and is honestly one of the top threatening things there. And this is what he says. I wish I was joking, but everyone in this dude's chain of command thinks he is not mentally competent. The only reason I'm asking is because I'm his first line supervisor and directly deal with him. I swear he can't walk and talk. He can't process words larger than 3 syllables. He forgets things you will tell him within 5 minutes, and he is mentally vacant at all times. He struggles with anything you put on his plate, to include breathing, not joking. The other week he put on a different rank because I spilled scrambled eggs on my top, so I swapped the rank for a cleaner one. I brought it up, but I fully expect him to not be mentally stable for the chain of command. They fully agree, but act like their hands are tied. He is our alternate arms room guy, and he forgets the code for the vault so often we've contemplated tattooing it to his hands. Is there a way to get him medically evaluated if he stays in? Either he will get hurt or he will accidentally hurt someone. I feel for this guy. We've all had this person before. And if this guy is autistic, he would not be the first one that's made it through the cracks. If you guys do not remember, I did a video almost 1 to 2 years ago talking about this, where there was a soldier that made it through boot camp and had disclosed this to an Army recruiter. They still pushed the kid through boot camp and did everything else. And yes, there is a spectrum, as I've been notified the entire time, like I don't work in medicine already, to know there's an autistic spectrum. I get that. And people are high functioning, low functioning. Some people talk, some people don't talk. Before you guys are being the warriors that you are, I appreciate you trying to educate. That's not what this video is about. This can only make us question if he wasn't the first one to make it through, he's not going to be the last one to make it through. By the way, there is a level of autism that is not being diagnosed, especially for people that are in the older age brackets. And as this is a pretty new diagnosis in general, that many people are going to be underdiagnosed possibly. Now, at first, for situations like this, you have to ask, is this person competent, aware? Do they understand what is going on around them? Well, you've made it through high school. You made it through boot camp, you made it through your tech school or AIT or whatever else. You've probably been through the rigmarole that you don't have to worry about having other issues, but some people can make it. We find out from the original poster, he's been in 13 years, has a wife and a few kids. He recently got automatically pinned to E5. I would love to try to mentor him on real life skills. However, we have tried and it just doesn't compute in his head, sadly. Unfortunate situation, because when you're in the military, you have to depend on everybody there. You don't control the quality of the soldier you're getting or whatever branch you're part of, or the skills that they bring or whatever else, that we're really just getting what we get. So the commanding officer of every unit has the capability to enforce or ensure people are medically seen. That is his jurisdiction, his cognizance over you as a person, believe it or not. If you decide not to follow the CEO's orders, guess what? He's probably going to separate you. But in this case scenario specifically, he is able to order psychiatric evaluations and things like that to make sure you are medically cleared. Also, to give a good side note for many of you guys, the CEO, the commanding officer, is the only person that can require you to do an alcohol blood work exam, which could be used as legal evidence against you. The people at medical don't care if you're super drunk. We probably only care just to treat you. Being military as well, someone that's been in this long, you have to wonder, he's in the Army, probably did Afghanistan or Iraq at some point. Maybe with how long he's been in, is there a TBI, traumatic brain injury, also neurological issues, things like that need to be discovered before they even move forward. As with anything in the military, you hate to be the paper pusher. You would just like to show up, do your job, go home, worry about nobody else. But no, it's not what you get to do, because you're going to end up with, I call them problem children, or people that can't end up doing their job. And this could be something out of this guy's control, so I don't want to just blame him. You have to document these situations. You have to make sure that you are taking accountability of all the issues that have gone wrong, because later on you don't want someone to get injured. If you bring this up, that's more headache for you. You have to then make sure he goes to all these appointments. You have to do all these other things where you're going to maybe lose another person on top of this guy, because you're now sending somebody with him to make sure all this gets done, because it sounds like he can't get anything done without you tying issues for him. Now, with every military branch, there is something called a physical evaluation board, or a PEB, that they could send this kid to and look at the ability of able to complete his job in general, which could include basic daily tasks. Documentation that you're going to have to obtain to kick this guy out would have to be pretty extensive. On top of that, they just pinned this guy to 5, which means pretty much you're going to look at they're not going to kick this guy out, especially if he's competent enough maybe to make the next rank. But we do know sometimes we have people that are automatically promoted on some of these meritorious advancements just out of pity, let's be honest. But sometimes they are well-deserved too. Now this brings me to the question of, should we have more in-depth screenings for mental health evaluations? As we've talked in other videos, that would be such an immense tax burden to the taxpayer, but is it worth it in the long run? Or is it more worth it to let some of these people fall through the cracks, process them out, and then move forward? Now, my anecdotal evidence from the situation, I have worked with somebody that actually was like this, to the point where we didn't trust them for anything. And this was my A-school rack mate that I had. That was the dirtiest person I could ever imagine on this earth, that probably was somewhere on that spectrum. I later learned he was so incompetent to even do his job that they didn't trust him to touch anything. They made this guy, a U.S. Navy sailor, a guy that wears the same uniform as me, they made him go to a automatic ticket kiosk machine to press a button on the screen and give people a ticket to wait in line. Those machines are meant to be automatic already. They're not meant to have a user at them besides the person that's going to click what they need. It's supposed to be like a sorting line, so that way they appropriately separate people that need to go to lab or pharmacy or wherever else. The moral of the story, you're going to deal with someone like this, so just be ready. It's frustrating, but you're going to be like, how did you end up here? There's over 1 million plus people in the military where you're going to see this pretty much at every command. There's somebody out there that just can't get with the program, and it could be because of something like this, but it's a good inquiry in general. And if you have issues like this guy, it sounds like he's going to bring it up to his command, and they should handle it at that point, because it is a risk to other people like he's mentioning here. As always, I'd love to know your guys' stories down in the comments below of somebody that you've dealt with that maybe could not give the program or was always an issue at your workplace, maybe outside the military, also inside the military, because like I said, you will see this on a regular basis in some places. But as always, if you guys want to support what we do at the channel, as the people that voted on this video and also members of the channel, you can also go to the link down below for the Patreon and also become a member here on the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. And as always, if you guys do have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.